This message is brought to you by Apple Card.
Apply for Apple Card today and start earning up to 3% daily cash back on everyday purchases.
And that daily cash can even grow automatically when you open a high-yield savings account through Apple Card.
What are you waiting for? Visit apple.co/card calculator today to see how much daily cash you can earn.
Subject to credit approval, savings available to Apple Card owners subject to eligibility. Savings in Apple Card by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC. Terms and more at applecard.com.
Men, if you're ready to reclaim your edge, listen up. I used to be held back by constant bathroom trips with multiple wake-ups during my sleep and looking for restrooms whenever I was out. Then I discovered Better Man. After just 2 months, I started experiencing fewer trips to the bathroom, less urge to go, and I even slept through some nights. I feel a noticeable boost in my overall well-being, even sexual stamina. It gives me the freedom and confidence to live life on my terms. Better Man is clinically tested and trusted by thousands of men over 25 years. Ready to take back control? Go to BeBetterNow.com to order your supply today. That's BeBetterNow.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed. Individual results may vary.
Run a business and not thinking about podcasting? Think again. More Americans listen to podcasts than ad-supported streaming music from Spotify and Pandora. And as the #1 podcaster, iHeart's twice as large as the next two combined. Learn how podcasting can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
In a world of economic uncertainty and workplace transformation, learn to lead by example from visionary C-suite executives like Shannon Schuyler of PwC and Will Pearson of iHeartMedia.
The good teacher explains, the great teacher inspires.
Don't always leave your team to do the work. That's been the most important part of how to lead by example.
Listen to Leading by Example, Executives Making an Impact on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Start here to become frugal in 2025.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends Podcast, where you'll learn to save money, embrace simplicity, and live a richer life. Here are your hosts, Jen and Jill.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends Podcast. My name is Jen.
My name is Jill.
And today we are talking about the foundations of frugality, at least the frugality that we practice.
We're calling it our Frugal manifesto. Kind of everything we've come to believe about frugality jammed into 45 minutes. To help you.
A deep dive into modern frugality, which I do own the handle for that. So I feel like I can say.
You can say that. You can say anything you want.
So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you have maybe wanted to become frugal, but you're, kind of feels like an F word. Frugality is not a dirty F word that so many people associate it with, and we are going to explain why today.
But first, this episode is brought to you by good advice. Just plain old good advice. Like always having an extra roll of toilet paper, snacks, and phone charger nearby. There's just some things we need to take heed of. Like this advice I'm about to give you. Keep your savings in a high-yield savings account, like the one I use at CIT. I do actually keep my money there because they're great. They got a great APY. They're an online bank, which means they can offer you the highest APY since they don't have the overhead of a brick and mortar bank. So you earn money on your money monthly. frugalfriendspodcast.com/CIT. That's just plain old good advice. And you know what? I just had our friend Sam, who was our very first spending intervention guest on YouTube. If you've not seen those episodes, don't sleep on it. Go to YouTube, Frugal Friends.
The thumbnail
spending intervention
is easy to identify.
Mm-hmm. Sam, and she was the one where we were like, is she too generous? Anyway, she just texted me this morning, hey, what high yield savings account do you use? And of course, I sent her to CIT, but also I should be chastising her for the fact that we didn't get her signed up for that a month ago.
Yeah. It's
But
good.
here we are.
People do the things that they need to do in their time.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic.
Yeah, but I love that. Like, I'm literally talking to friends about this, sending them these links. And you are my friend too, and I'm giving you good advice. Frugalfriendspodcast.com/CIT.
Yes. So we wrote a book last year called Buy What You Love Without Going Broke. And it is the how-to guide on how to spend money, how to find what you value, align your spending with it, and say no to what you don't, which is being a good steward of your financial resources. And we focused heavily on financial resources. We believe frugality goes beyond financial resources. So if you want to become frugal, this lifestyle isn't just a spending race to the bottom. It's not an obsession with spending or an obsession with not spending. It is truly an obsession with life and stewarding resources well. So that's what we think frugal living is. We got to define it right off the top. And we believe frugal living is good stewardship of all of our finite resources. And that includes money, which our book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke, really heavily emphasizes. It's also about being a good steward of your time, your physical space, your mental energy, and your natural resources. And these are all finite resources in that you have what you have in the time that you have it, right? You can't manifest more at any given second. You can always make more money. You can always declutter and create more space or buy a bigger house and have more space. But what you have right now is what you have. The only one of these resources that is not like semi-renewable or you can make more of is time. That one is completely finite. What you get is what you have, and you may have less of it than you think. You may have more of it than you think, but you ultimately can't control it either. So that's why we view time as highly, if not more highly than money, but really how we steward our time is dictated by our money. So those are our top ones.
So when it comes to living frugally well, we really want to emphasize the intersection of all of these different resources. So I know a lot of times when we traditionally think about frugality, we just think about the money aspect, getting things for cheap, getting things for inexpensive, not hardly paying for nothing. And we are going to talk about how to get things for free. That is a part of this. But our version of frugality is really looking at all of these pieces: money, time, physical space, mental energy, natural resources, that all of it matters to our well-being, the well-being of the relationships around us, our community. And when we kind of look at it with this larger lens, it actually makes the lifestyle super enjoyable. It makes it fun, attainable. It gives it longevity. And so it's one of the reasons why we also blend the term values-based spending with frugality. Again, one of the things we talk about in our book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke, a bunch, is leaning into what are the things that are bringing me the most joy and are connecting me more with the things that matter most, like family, friends, faith, fulfilling work. Doing those things more and in ways that are making the most of stewarding well all of the different resources that we've just described. That's the main focus. Then, of course, there's things that we spend on. There are ways that we do interact with money. There are ways that in order to manage our physical space well or our mental energy well, we will choose to spend. So when it comes to that aspect where money intersects with all other aspects of our personhood, we can run through this lens of how do we approach our spending decisions. And one of the things we've been loving to do with recent episodes and just in our own lives when it comes to spending money is filtering it through these questions. How can I get it for free? How can I get it low cost? How can I get a deal? And how can I spend on it guilt-free? And we feel like this framework is really helpful for making sure that we are stewarding our money well. But when we're asking these questions, it of course is going to intersect with all of our other resources because it will help us when we're thinking, how do I get it for free? It's going to include community. Then that's going to be, how am I stewarding my mental energy, my time, and my natural resources well? So all of these questions intersect not just for the purpose of how can I get it as cheap as possible, but rather how can I make sure that I am taking care of everything that's been entrusted to me.
Yeah. So we're going to kind of dive into these questions, these filters, and explain how they impact all areas of our resources as well. Again, in past episodes, we've kind of focused on the financial aspect, but there is a component of all of these resources in every financial decision we make. And so it's important to be able to identify that. So the first one, obviously, is we prioritize getting what we need and what we want for free. And far and wide, the things we consume are wants versus needs. Sometimes we'll over-rationalize something as a need because we think we are irresponsible if we spend on wants, but we can really transform how we make purchases, the amount we impulse spend, and really how we view spending and, guilt-free spending, etc. If we view the appropriate purchases as wants versus needs. So there are some questions that we ask before we consume something, before we acquire something. Do I need it? Can I borrow it? This impacts our physical space because even if we can get it for free, doesn't mean we should get it for free. I know that is a big issue in a lot of households that consider themselves frugal, including mine. In my household, Travis, my husband, cannot say no.
If it's free, it's for me. I think he has said that.
He has that tattooed on his soul. And so it does create a difficulty because we have a finite amount of physical space at our house. So when you consume something for free, you are spending physical space. So you're always spending something when you consume, whether it is time, money, physical space, mental energy, or natural resources, right? That's what we want you to really understand and take away from this episode, and then give you the tools to filter to make sure that expenditure is worth it. So do I need it? Can I borrow it? That way I have it and I can use it, but I can give it back. Can I trade for it? So there are these beautiful things called time banks around the country. We have one in St. Pete, but you can essentially, traditional trading is like, I have eggs, you have butter, let's trade. Mm-hmm. Time banks, you don't have to trade for necessarily goods. You can also trade for time, and you can give. So maybe I need something, and that is worth 4 hours. And so then I would pay with 4 hours, and maybe I would pay for that giving 2 hours to somebody and 2 hours to somebody else. But the hours aren't necessarily strict hours. It also takes into consideration the level of physical or mental or career effort involved. They have ways to figure that out. But it really is this kind of sharing, this trading economy for the modern age. And so that's obviously time banks are you're spending with your time. Sometimes you're spending with your physical energy or mental energy. And so can I trade it? Or what can we share? I know sometimes for us specifically, we have shared a phone plan with another family. And even now my mom's in it. There's like 8 of us or 9 of us now that are sharing in this family phone plan. And it makes the phone plan less expensive for all of us. And sharing
A Costco
tools.
membership.
We share a Costco membership. Yeah. Sharing tools, like actually buying something that it's like, okay, let's go in on it together and we'll share it. Or even sharing libraries, tool libraries, seed libraries. And then that brings me to the last point. Does the library offer it?
Libraries are amazing. You've heard us just geek out over how much we love libraries.
Go back to the entertainment episode, how to save money on entertainment.
It's practically library.
It's a love letter to libraries.
Yeah. And of course, you're hearing in this the undercurrent of reciprocity that we think is so, so important to living a frugal lifestyle, that we are not just taking, we're also giving. And so when it comes to freebies, we can be asking ourselves, what do I own that someone else might need occasionally? That there is a give and take. And so when it comes to tools, baby gear, books, kitchen appliances, party supplies, people often need them, but only for the short term. So making sure that you know what you have to offer and they'll be more inclined to reciprocate. And again, this is why when we look at those higher level needs of belonging and community and relationship and esteem, this blends so beautifully into it and is a lifestyle that actually is fulfilling for us, not just deprivation, because we are not just looking at frugality on a money aspect, but recognizing that when we ask these questions and we engage in this give and take, we have more flourishing relationships. We feel better about ourselves because we have purpose and something to offer. We're thinking critically and creatively, and we're solving problems together. So yeah, again, not just so I can get the most for the least amount, but so that I can really be a contributing member to my community.
Yeah, we really do believe that frugal living is a shift in mindset to a village mentality, a sharing economy. Obviously, we're not leaving capitalism, right? We're not anti-capitalism, and we're not, pro sharing everything equally, like communism or something. We are pro sharing in our smaller communities. And that involves getting to know the people in your community. It involves a high level of invested relationships, and it takes time to build those. So like when you have something that you're willing to share, let people know. When they know you're willing to share, they are more willing to share with you. And this comes from interacting with people face to face, voice to voice. Sure, you could post on Facebook or post on Instagram a picture of something you're willing to share, but that's not going to really fly in the terms of people feeling safe with you, right? So it's putting ourselves out there into more face-to-face interactions, and that's what builds this small-scale sharing economy.
Yeah, it's just like a win-win-win across the board. Okay, so then the next filter here is if we can't get it for free, then how can I get it for low cost? So maybe that same or similar item less than what you might typically pay for it. So this is where we are thinking second hand first. Your thrift stores, Facebook Marketplace, pawn shops, consignment stores that, again, not just for the lowest price, but also so that we are not contributing to more consumption, the creating of new things, when most likely what we are looking for already exists. So beginning to look for that pre-owned is always going to be the first filter that we go through. And of course, considering repairing instead of replacing. There's a lot of additional benefits here from building a new skill set, increasing self-esteem and our own sense of purpose, creativity, again, problem solving, not putting more into the landfill, not buying new. If we can figure out how to make what we already have work through DIY fixes that we're YouTubing or asking a friend to help you to repair something, Like, I just did an Instagram post, well, somewhat recently, about repairing shoes. They were great shoes that I actually initially got from the thrift store. So somebody else had already worn them through. Then I've been wearing them through for about 8 years now. And I just can't find anything else I like better. They're leather boots. They're great, but the soles absolutely came off of them. And I took them to a shoe repair. I didn't have to repair it, but I did support a local business and was able to maintain the shoes I already owned. So it's this type of mentality too that we want to lean into. And along with that, it will mean investing in quality over quantity, getting the thing that will last longer rather than as cheap as you possibly can, so that it will be something that you can eventually repair.
Yeah. And this explicitly looks at the good stewardship of natural resources, right? We're not against new, but we're trying to limit the manufacturing of new things, because it also plays into the physical space that we have in the world, honestly, because we're not getting another world. And all of our textile waste, our appliance waste, our tech waste, it doesn't disappear. It doesn't just get burned up and incinerated and then creates, more dirt for us to build on. That's not what happens. It gets sent to other places. And right now, those other places are not typically in America, but we won't be able to say that forever. So much textile waste is ending up in American landfills. It's just a smaller percentage of what is sent overseas. And so we want to be good stewards of the physical space of our planet, right? So minimizing the need for new manufacturing is one of the ways that we can do that.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card.
Whoa, I just found out you can earn up to 3% daily cash back on everyday purchases made with Apple Card.
Yeah, you can earn unlimited daily cash back with Apple Card on every purchase. No matter where you check out with Apple Pay, you always get daily cash.
The possibilities are endless.
What's better is that daily cash can automatically grow when you open a high-yield savings account through Apple Card.
That's like endless, plus one.
Visit apple.co/card calculator today and discover just how much daily cash you can earn.
Subject to credit approval, savings available to Apple Card owners subject to eligibility. Savings in Apple Card by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC. Terms and more at applecard.com.
Looking to save even more money on your phone bill? How does free sound? Helium Mobile is offering the first free phone plan. That's right, free phone service. Seriously, no bill, no contract, just free.
It's not just some limited time deal. You get nationwide 5G coverage with 3 gigabytes of data, 300 texts, and 100 minutes of calls. If you need more data, you can upgrade to their other plans. Plus, you're supporting a community-built network that's growing every day to keep you seamlessly connected wherever you go.
When we first heard about Helium Mobile, we couldn't wait to share it with all our Frugal listeners who are looking to budget smarter when it comes to everyday necessities without sacrificing quality.
So if you're in the market to cut that monthly phone bill, like really cut it, Helium Mobile is where it's at. Download the Helium Mobile app today and use the code FRUGAL to get your free plan today.
Trust isn't just earned, it's demanded. Whether you're a startup founder navigating your first audit or a seasoned security professional scaling your GRC program, proving your commitment to security has never been more critical or more complex. That's where Vanta comes in. Businesses use Vanta to establish trust by automating compliance needs over 35 frameworks, like SOC 2 and ISO 27001, centralized security workflows, complete questionnaires up to 5 times faster, and proactively manage vendor risk. Vanta can help you start or scale your security program by connecting you with auditors and experts to conduct your audit and set up your security program quickly. Plus, with automation and AI throughout the platform, Vanta gives you time back so you can focus on building your company. Join over 9,000 global companies like Atlassian, Quora, and Factory who use Vanta to manage risk and prove security in real time. For a limited time, our audience gets $1,000 off Vanta at vanta.com/special. That's VANTA.com/special for $1,000 off.
Men, if you're ready to reclaim your edge, listen up. I used to be held back by constant bathroom trips with multiple wake-ups during my sleep and looking for restrooms whenever I was out. Then I discovered Better Man. After just 2 months, I started experiencing fewer trips to the bathroom, less urge to go, and I even slept through some nights. I feel a noticeable boost in my overall well-being, even sexual stamina. It gives me the freedom and confidence to live life on my terms. Better Man is clinically tested and trusted by thousands of men over 25 years. Ready to take back control? Go to BeBetterNow.com to order your supply today. That's BeBetterNow.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed. Individual results may vary.
We also love these secondhand websites online. There are so many more options to get what you need secondhand online. If you don't have the time resources to invest in thrifting, yard sailing, all of that, and you will pay a little more money, but you're getting good quality and you're saving some of that time resource. So I've seen places like Back Market for tech, Relay for running shoes, which are not used running shoes, but they're shoes that were returned within the 30 to 100 day window, so that they can't resell as quote unquote new. Goodbye gear, BUY, that's baby stuff. Or unclaimed baggage is stuff that was literally unclaimed baggage from airports. That they have a whole store. I think it's in Kentucky or Alabama. It's a very cool store. I would love to go. But yeah, so there are so many more options to buy things online secondhand. We just have to put that filter into place and spend a little time looking before we jump straight to Amazon or Walmart or wherever else we tend to go.
And when we can't get it secondhand, this is when we are looking for a deal. So a way to buy the item, maybe new, but for more than what you would have purchased it if you would have paid full price for it. And this is when your rebates, coupons, sales, discount stores are going to come in clutch for us. Because why not? If we're going to already now be buying it, how can we get it for less expensive so that we can free up more of our resource of money to go towards things that might be even more important to us? And because these resources exist, so why not use them? Sites like Groupon, where you can get up to 70% off of local restaurants, services, travel. I have traveled at least twice with deals off of Groupon. Mm-hmm. We're not sponsored by any of these, by the way. I know it sounds like we are, but we're not. Living Social, similar to Groupon with local deals and discounts. Brad's Deals, they actually have sponsored us, but we do think that we think that anyone who sponsors us is great. We're not going to let anybody sponsor us who we don't think is a good site and resource for you. But they specifically curate deals from trustworthy sources. So they're going to tell you what the best price, who's offering the best price on maybe this set of sheets or this kitchen gadget or these shoes or even travel. Sometimes even up to getting 50% off. Then you've got places like slickdeals.net. That one's community powered. It's a deal site with reviews and alerts on different things that you might already be buying. Local Flavor, that's a local restaurant with coupons for the different foods that they may offer, sometimes 50 to 60% off. So being able to be aware of what are these different deal websites and am I using them regularly? This is back to, did you mention Benny already?
No, I didn't.
That's secondhand. So we're jumping around a little bit, but that's a browser extension that you can download. And if you are on any website and it finds that same item that you're looking for on a secondhand site, they'll tell you about it. So let's say I'm on Patagonia's website and I'm looking at a pullover. Benny might pop up and say, actually, that same pullover in this size is for sale right now on ThreadUp. Done. Bouncing right over to ThreadUp and getting it secondhand instead. So that's Benny is primarily clothing and accessories, shoes, that kind of a thing. But these types of things can really help us to make sure that we are being as efficient as possible in shopping our secondhand and getting the deal. Like, we don't have to be sprawled out on our living room floor clipping coupons all day. We just need to know about these handful of websites that we go to first.
Yeah. Deals are really something we resort to. It's not what we jump to. And I think this is what gives frugal people a bad name. People will bash frugality as being scarcity minded or limited mindset. And that could not be further from the truth. This is an internal motivator. Frugality is an internal motivator for me. I love the idea of freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, space freedom. And so when I can steward my resources in these categories well, I get more of it. I cannot out-earn my spending. I cannot have a big enough abundance mindset to control my impulse spending, the spending I do because I'm insecure, the spending I do because I'm tired and I don't want to think about anything. I just want to spend. Things are out of my control. And the only way I can find control is by purchasing things to solve other problems. Out earning money cannot fix those things. When we have freedom and flexibility, that is what really gets to the root of those issues. You can earn as much money as you want, and you'll still not be financially secure or feel financial freedom. I know a ton of financially, quote unquote, free people that don't feel financially free. And they are just trying to spend as little as possible and earn as much as possible out of fear that it'll go away. Out of fear about the future. And frugality is not fear. Frugality does not look to hoard, like to gain all the deals, to game the system. Frugality does not look to acquire and consume as much as possible at the lowest price possible. That's not our brand of frugality. Mm-hmm. That's not it. If that's what you're looking for, that's not us.
Yeah, I think that because I love finding deals because it's not the first thing that I'm jumping to. My frugality has de-influenced me from overconsumption.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm only finding myself here at this place of finding the best deal after I've done all of my understanding of what do I enjoy doing? How can I do those things in a way that doesn't cause me to overspend? How can I decrease my impulse spending while still having fun and enjoying my life? So by the time I get to the point of just simply buying something, then yeah, it's enjoyable to see how can I get this for less cost once I've already done the secondhand and the free options. So it's not this collection. It's not this overconsumption. And I think that's one of the reasons, because those people do exist.
Oh,
but it
absolutely.
gets the bad rap of, look at how much candy I bought for 50 cents. It's just like, and who's going to eat that? And what are we going to do with all this candy?
Right.
And why?
Yeah, why?
Just because you got a deal?
Because you could?
No, I'd rather get a deal on the thing that I knew I'm going to utilize. I put time and intentionality into this, and I was able to utilize a resource that's available to me.
Yeah. So these are the foundations of frugality. And if we can't get it for free, first deciding that we really do want it or need it, if we can't get it for free, if we can't get it secondhand, if we can't get a deal on it, then our last filter is that we buy it full price and we buy it guilt-free. Because if it's been through all of those filters, then we know it's aligned with our values, it's a good purchase.
Mm-hmm.
And people, I think a lot of frugal people will feel guilty. I know they feel guilty for buying things full price. I know they feel guilty buying things that are not quote unquote needs or essential to life.
Yeah.
And that's how we do this. We give these filters, and if we go through them and we still really want it, we have to buy it without guilt, because you only get one life to live.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know how long that life is going to be. Honestly, people will use that as an excuse to overconsume, but truly it gives us also permission to consume when we feel guilty or fearful about spending.
I think a lot of times guilt can come when we haven't really thought through the purchase either. Not always. It doesn't always dispel all of the guilt and shame. There's a lot of reasons that we feel this way. And part of that has to do with giving ourselves space to dig into our money story and understanding our own mindsets around these things and putting in the work to kind of shed that. But it can help if we feel really confident in knowing I've done the research. I know how this is aligning with my goals, my values, and being able to, we talk about this a lot too, purchase locally. If we know that we're supporting a friend or we're supporting a local business, we're giving back to our community, these types of ways of spending also can help us to enter into that kind of guilt-free spending mode that we're after here. And so that's how we do it.
Yeah.
I will say, there was something else I want to say on this. Here it is. I think too, there are times I will skip over the deal filter hot take. So yes, free, secondhand, and then sometimes just guilt-free if it means that I'm able to buy this locally or from a more reputable brand. I might not be able to get a deal if I'm at a farmer's market buying some sort of gadget or spice blend or whatever from people who are within my community. Fine. I'm not going to go now undercut them because I can get a deal someplace else. My guilt-free spending is supporting you and the work that you're doing, your small business, rather than Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, you have our full permission to skip right to values-based spending if you already know that it is aligned with your values. But if you are unsure, these filters really do help in getting to that guilt-free spot.
Another pillar of our frugal lifestyle and this podcast
it's
part of the framework.
It's part of the framework. It's the fifth filter.
The bill of the week.
That's right. It's time for the best minute of your entire week. Maybe a baby was born and his name is William. Maybe you paid off your mortgage. Maybe your car died and you're happy to not have to pay that bill anymore. Duck bills, Buffalo Bills, Bill Clinton. This is the bill of the week.
Hi, my bill of the week is I was able to reduce my phone bill by $28 each and every month. Yay! I just reviewed the phone plan options that they had since it's been a few years, and now I have more money each and every month. Yay!
Yay, Kelsey. Woo!
That's amazing. That's a significant reduction.
It's always good to remind everyone, because we say it all the time, but it begs reminding. Your phone bill and your internet are the easiest bills to negotiate. So if you are worried about negotiating, those are the two bills to start with. Travis called about our bill for our internet was increasing by $10 a month. He just made a call because he wanted it to stay the same. And he got off the call and it had lowered $5 a month.
Amazing. One time I called about internet because I got a mailer of how they were offering a gift card, like $100 gift card to new people who signed up to use their service and a lower rate. So I called and I'm like, I am a current user of your service, but I'd love this rate and I'd love that gift card too. And they did. I got both.
Mm-hmm.
as a longtime user, and I was kind of like, how do I get rewarded for my loyalty? They're like, all right, sweetheart, here's your gift card, here's your lower rate.
Yeah, remind them that you have other options and you are loyal.
Yeah, or what's to keep me from canceling and then re-signing up and getting this deal?
Yeah,
so
I've got the time, resource, and willing to do that.
So that's a reason to also look at your junk mail, but also cancel your junk mail because that's just wasted paper. But in that situation, it did help me. Well, if you're listening and you have a bill that you want to share, if it has to do with lowering a bill or just being bill and you're paying your bills, frugalfriendspodcast.com/bill. Leave it for us. Looking to save even more money on your phone bill? How does free sound? Helium Mobile is offering the first free phone plan. That's right, free phone service. Seriously, no bill, no contract, just free.
It's not just some limited time deal. You get nationwide 5G coverage with 3 gigabytes of data, 300 texts, and 100 minutes of calls. If you need more data, you can upgrade to their other plans. Plus, you're supporting a community-built network that's growing every day to keep you seamlessly connected wherever you go.
When we first heard about Helium Mobile, we couldn't wait to share it with all our Frugal listeners who are looking to budget smarter when it comes to everyday necessities without sacrificing quality.
So if you're in the market to cut that monthly phone bill, like really cut it, Helium Mobile is where it's at. Download the Helium Mobile app today and use the code FRUGAL to get your free plan today.
Men, if you're ready to reclaim your edge, listen up. I used to be held back by constant bathroom trips with multiple wake-ups during my sleep and looking for restrooms whenever I was out. Then I discovered Better Man. After just 2 months, I started experiencing fewer trips to the bathroom, less urge to go, and I even slept through some nights. I feel a noticeable boost in my overall well-being, even sexual stamina. It gives me the freedom and confidence to live life on my terms. Better Man is clinically tested and trusted by thousands of men over 25 years. Ready to take back control? Go to BeBetterNow.com to order your supply today. That's BeBetterNow.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed. Individual results may vary.
Run a business and not thinking about podcasting? Think again. More Americans listen to podcasts than ad-supported streaming music from Spotify and Pandora. And as the #1 podcaster, iHeart's twice as large as the next 2 combined. So whatever your customers listen to, they'll hear your message. Plus, only iHeart can extend your message to audiences across broadcast radio. Think podcasting can help your business? Think iHeart. Streaming, radio, and podcasting. Call 844-844-iHeart to get started. That's 844-844-iHeart.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
And now it's time for the lightning round. Pew, pew.
How did you become frugal?
Oh, wow. I did not read this question ahead of time.
You didn't fill it out. Okay, I will give an answer.
Okay.
So I'll be very transparent. I don't think I was frugal when we started the Frugal Friends podcast. I wanted to help people become debt-free. And a big thing that was transformative to me in our debt-free journey was learning that why I had little control over my spending. It was easy for me to make money. Side hustles came naturally to me, but I could not out-earn my mindless spending. And so finding ways to lower my spending became really transformative because that was more difficult than making money. And so when about 2019, I think it was maybe a year into the show, when I lost my job and could no longer max out all of my retirement accounts and lost my identity in that level of achievement that I was really honestly defining myself by, then I had to let go of the idea of like white knuckling your self-discipline with money. And we were so obsessed with spending being kind of like a race to the bottom. And I realized that it wasn't. And I'd always been quite in tune with the reality that life is short. The end is not determined. The end is not controllable. So I think it was really easy for me once I had to lose my identity of like just being a financial overachiever, coupled with I don't know how long I'm going to get on this earth. That was truly the transformation. That was the start of my transformation to discovering this good stewardship approach.
It's really beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah, similarly, it does take me to kind of a more meta place to answer this question, which I do think is very indicative of where we're finding ourselves in our understanding of frugality. I think my answer to this is I'm still becoming frugal. I think, yeah.
It is a journey.
Right. Well, and because I feel like it is a lifestyle and it is integrated to how I view myself, view the world, and not just a way I manage money, that I am becoming. So as I'm in my own process of becoming, how I'm understanding frugality, meaning the way I steward all of my resources and what's been entrusted to me, I'm still learning how to do that better and better. I will say, though, there is, if I were to kind of think about a turning point for me, and this was not me ever arriving, there's been so much that I've been able to build upon from this point. But I remember when I was younger, my grandmother would take me to the thrift store. She would get things for herself. That's where she would like to buy things. I only wanted to go to the mall. Like, that's where I wanted to be.
Oh my gosh, same. My mom actually took me to the thrift store once, and I refused to go inside.
Yes. Like little me who couldn't even drive myself was just like, I'm not going there. It's gross. I'm not touching anything.
I chose to sit in the car in the hot Florida sun. I did eventually go in because I was so warm.
Yeah. Right. just for a little bit of AC.
Yeah.
And she would take, Weathervane. Do you remember Weathervane? Aeropostale, American Eagle. Like, these are the places that I wanted my clothing from.
Absolutely.
And then at some point I realized, wait, they have some of those clothes at the thrift store. It must have been that, I went begrudgingly. So I'm finally just digging through. And then I realized, so this is where obviously like 13-year-old me, I can get so much for so little, right? That was like kind of my understanding. But still, it was something. It was a version of a building block for me to realize that I can get the things that I want for not as much, which frees up more opportunities. How I've understood that has shifted over the years. I mean, I even talk about in the book, even within the last 10 years, I have shifted from wanting to acquire as much as possible for as little as possible to now, I don't want all that stuff. I don't want it to take up my time to clean it and repair it and yada, yada. So, but I will say, I think that was a little bit of a pivotal point for me to realize there are other ways to think critically about how we manage our resources. And if we allow ourselves those opportunities, then the opportunity cost, what it opens up for us is there's a whole new world out there. And so from that point, then I became a thrift store girly. And that was it. You can't take me back to Weathervane because they closed down.
Stop me.
They don't exist anymore.
You can't stop me.
Yeah. So we're just building upon it and we're learning and we're sharing it all with you guys.
Yeah. So thank you so much for listening. I hope if you're in your beginning journey of potentially becoming frugal, following this lifestyle, welcome. Insert cult joke here. But we think a great place to start after this is reading our book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke. It's extremely comprehensive in how we steward the resource of money well, and it also does touch on the other resources. Just really hones in on the money aspect. You can get that at buywhatyoulovebook.com. People have nice things to say about it, like Ryan, who gave it a 5-star review on Amazon. Admittedly, it has been a while since I've actually finished the book, they say. Let alone within the span of 2 weeks, Buy What You Love is a fun read full of amazing advice and relatable stories. It feels like a conversation with a friend, one who wants you to feel empowered about your finances and spending. Jen and Jill not only acknowledge that the old standby financial advice to simply just not spend money is impossible, but they challenge you to really figure out how you can and want to spend money in your current season of life. The lightning rounds and action steps at the end of each chapter are what sets this book apart and helps you internalize their words and advice. I had so many revelations when I actually took the time to look at the deeper meaning behind my spending and coming up with creative ways to spend less and get more of what I really want. Thank you, Jen and Jill. I will continue to recommend this book to friends and strangers alike.
That's really awesome. That's one of the first times that I've heard somebody specifically reference how helpful the lightning round and action step were, which was something that was really important for us to put into the book, that it would be this integrated, you weren't just passively reading, but actively engaged and kind of knowing what to do next. I think that that's one of the things that self-help books can lack is but what do I do now? Not just at the end of the book, but every single chapter. So I'm so thrilled to hear that that was helpful for you, Ryan. And if you want the same kind of help for yourself, buywhatyoulovebook.com. We really believe in this thing and we want to help you. We think it's a good resource.
And if you have read it, please leave a rating and review on Amazon. That would be so helpful to get the word out. Thank you and see you next time.
Bye.
Frugal Friends is produced by Eric Sirianni.
So I've been watching a lot of social commentary on YouTube. I know I've talked to you about this, but some of my favorite channels are Hannah Alonso and Kiki Chanel. And what they do is they will dissect social media, like influencer culture and viral trends, and talk about what it means, how we interpret it, like how it permeates our identity when we see so many of them, because it's a viral trend. You're not seeing just one, you're seeing like 20 or 30, whether it's like the overconsumption, the overorganization, the Stanley Cups. Like, this is not just a problem for women, like girls, like in their early
young
20s.
girls with makeup.
This is an issue for women in their 30s and 40s. And I showed you the tail end of a Kiki Chanel video I was watching yesterday about how we should start banning podcast equipment because if
anyone with a microphone,
everyone
can say whatever they want.
Anyone with a microphone can say whatever they want, whether it is helpful or not. And it primarily featured the traditional bro podcaster, but there were some women in there too. People should just not be allowed.
Careful. Here's the thing. What's beautiful about podcasts is that there's so many and we can choose. That's the thing. Anyone can say whatever they want and we can choose whether or not we want to listen to them.
Yeah. And so my hope is that more reasonable people will say reasonable things because it's the delusional ones that think people want to hear them. And that's why we stick around, because
we're still here.
We've said so many times we could for sure make more money doing other things. But this is seriously still, it's been 7 years and this is a gap that no other podcast is filling. We would love to see more frugal living podcasts. But everybody wants to talk about the economy and investing and financial news and earning money. And so we'll stick around to be that alternative for people who want to be better stewards of their money, time, physical space, energy, and natural resources.
We'll still be here, just chugging away on our microphones.
But yeah, you should watch that video from Kiki Chanel. It good.
Men, if you're ready to reclaim your edge, listen up. I used to be held back by constant bathroom trips with multiple wake-ups during my sleep and looking for restrooms whenever I was out. Then I discovered Better Man. After just 2 months, I started experiencing fewer trips to the bathroom, less urge to go, and I even slept through some nights. I feel a noticeable boost in my overall well-being, even sexual stamina. It gives me the freedom and confidence to live life on my terms. Better Man is clinically tested and trusted by thousands of men over 25 years. Ready to take back control? Go to BeBetterNow.com to order your supply today. That's BeBetterNow.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed. Individual results may vary.
In a world of economic uncertainty and workplace transformation, learn to lead by example from visionary C-suite executives like Shannon Schuyler of PwC and Will Pearson of iHeartMedia.
The good teacher explains, the great teacher inspires.
Don't always leave your team to do the work. That's been the most important part of how to lead by example.
Listen to Leading by Example, Executives Making an Impact on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.